the work ethic, just maintenance in the cars.
Some of these are great.
Slick.
Right?
All right. You guys all ready to roll?
Yeah, we're going into it.
Let's do it, kids.
All right.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm going to switch over to my hillbilly voice since we drink an early time.
Here we go.
Right from the mountain. Early times. Welcome. This is the Whiskey Roundtable. We are your hosts. I'm Joe Clark.
Big G.
And I'm Albert Santilli.
And I'm Karen Helen Keller.
Robert Deagzio.
There you go.
Extra host.
I'm not a host.
We want to thank you for joining us tonight, and we also want to let you know you can view us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and especially on YouTube for the videos here. Want to let you know if you want to be a guest on the show, contact us, and all we ask is that you bring a bottle of your favorite whiskey, and that is unopened. If it is an open bottle, like I've said before, something rare that you can't readily get, that's fine. We'll discuss it at that time. I have one announcement today from Hank. Actually, what he's been noticing is all the other bottled and bonds that have left us, like the, I know one of them is a bottled bond, like Old Ezra number 7 is gone. The Heaven Hill bottled and bond is gone.
Old Fitz.
The Old Fitz bottled and bond is gone. And now he is having trouble locating any Very Old Barton bottled and bond, which is upsetting to me because that's one of my favorite drinks, along with Heaven Hill. All of our drinks, you know, that we like, especially me and Greg. And it seems like everything we like that's at a really good price point is just disappearing.
It is.
And it's sad. And it's like they keep almost like reissuing things at a higher price point, like $20 more a bottle. Right. And the quest, and the question is, and our quest is it really that much better? I'd like to get another number 7. Old Ezra, the original, the 101 proof, and compare it because I guarantee you it's not much different than the barrel strength that we have here. You know what I mean? So that's the only announcement I have from Hank and Carl. He doesn't really know I was going to say that, but I figured that was a really good opening to the show. Kind of a sad opening, but on tonight's show we are featuring Early Times, kind of a double play here. The regular Early Times, which I'm not extremely excited about. And then we have one of our favorites, and it's a good one on the group, is the Early Times Bottled and Bond. And it's a fantastic drink, in my opinion, and all of ours, actually. Greg, what do we got on cigars tonight? You guys, I see.
So we're doing, Royal Havana Cigars, Dave Samrock, over there in Willoughby, Lakeshore, and I just got my on Lakeshore Boulevard. Right there. They're the ones that supply us with all of our cigars, our lighters, our ashtrays. I always tell everybody, if you get a chance, stop in there, mention the Whiskey Roundtable. You get 10% off your first purchase. They also have a boutique, so if you're looking for any type of clothing, cigar clothing, they sell ashtrays, lighters, cutters. They do gift cards for the holidays.
I'm going to do that every time you say ashtray.
Okay. So give them a shout. So again, that's Dave Samrock over at Royal Havana Cigars in Willoughby. So.
And,
okay.
Yeah, you want to introduce our guest real quick?
Can I make a real quick announcement? I want to acknowledge the Kenston Bombers football team, Division III state champions. Big shout out to those guys. That's an amazing feat. Blew away the team 42-6. So congratulations to the Kenston Bombers.
Congratulations to the Kenston Bombers.
Good stuff.
So I'm going to introduce Robert. Robert was kind enough to come in from California to hang out with us tonight, just like John did last week, and I appreciate that as well. Robert Deagzio is actually a very, very close friend of Albert Santilli and the family, and he's all about Scotch and cigars, and he says I have to go see this happen today, so he showed up today. So Albert's probably got a little bit more history of Robert than I do, so I don't know if
Well, okay, so the long and the short of it is I was on a business trip out to San Diego.
Just stay with the long.
Yeah, no, it was cool, but so that's how. So he was filling in for one of my business partners, Trent. Trent's a business partner of mine, and Rob has a history with my father. So we phoned him, knowing that he's native to the area, and actually originally from Parma, right? Around these neck of the woods.
There you go.
Not terribly far, you know.
Well,
you know some people out there.
I do know some people out there.
So,
graduated from Valley Forge.
Well, know where that is too.
Your favorite restaurant is out there.
It is the Das Schnitzelhaus.
Ooh, schnitzel.
So #1 German restaurant in Northeast Ohio.
They've been in the paper a few times this year.
They've been on the
Yeah.
TV and the paper. They've been all over.
Yeah.
Great place. Everything there is homemade. It's all made fresh every day.
But so here I am. I'm thinking this is going to be like a buttoned-up corporate event and white-collared. And so the first thing I do when I get off the plane on San Diego is I go to the skateboard shop. I buy myself a new skateboard. It's got grip tape with some boobies on it because it's my style. But I meet Deagzio, and he's like, "Yeah, for the meeting, why don't you leave your board back at the hotel? You know, it's not that kind of a board meeting." But little did I know, like once we met up, you know, we just hit it off. We liked all the same stuff. We like whiskey, we like cigars, and he's into surfing in the West Coast. It's that whole vibe. It's just different out there. Cool. So we've literally been friends ever since. I can honestly say that. That's how I met you.
And I've been friends with your dad for a long time.
Yeah. If you want to elaborate, you know, I think you were with Wright Medical at that time.
Yeah, in the orthopedic medical device industry, and you know, his dad is kind of a legend. He does a lot more than just medical devices, and got to know Al Senior, and he became a great friend. He's an awesome human being, and
He is a very good guy. I agree.
And
he's got a solid family.
yeah,
for sure.
he's one of my brothers. And then when I met Al Jr. here, sorry to call you Junior, but Albert, when I met Albert in San Diego, because we did this thing together, we just totally connected. And of course, and he knew it, but I didn't tell him, but of course, Al Sr. said, you know, he's a good kid, look after my kid, you know, I mean, we're Dagos, I mean, come on. Yeah, of course, right? And so we did all the right things, we ate the right things, we drank the right things, we had a blast, and we totally connected, so yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good deal.
All right, so not to get too off track on this one, we left off at cigars. Did you introduce your cigar?
Yeah, the same cigar that I've been smoking since we started. It's a Maduro cigar, Ecuadorian blend. It's a great cigar. It's our house cigar. So all of our house cigars, which I always say are, we sell out weekly of our house cigar, and we get them fresh every week, and we can't, no matter how many we order, they're gone. So it's the same thing that I'm smoking.
Okay, Karen, what do you got?
I'm just recovering from a massive head cold, so I'm just smoking a little short Macanudo, just to get back into the swing of things. Just a light little cigar. Greg, you can probably talk more about it.
It's more of a Connecticut style, lighter cigar. Usually most of your Macanudos are all real light body to maybe medium body cigars, but you know, if you want a quick smoke, that's I call those cafe cigars. Those are a great cigar to smoke.
Quick smoke.
It's a good smoke. You won't go wrong with it. So
I can't, right. This guy. You
Joe,
got some more of those?
Would you like one,
Oh,
Joe?
I would like to try one.
You're
I would.
absolutely welcome
got a
to try
dollar?
one of those.
Sure.
maybe $1.50.
Got your dollar right? No.
Do you need help opening that?
Again,
Albert, what do you
shout out
got?
to Royal Havana.
Yeah,
Royal
that's one of those
Cigars.
sponsors right there.
I'm smoking on a Rocky Patel Vintage 1990. Okay, I missed it by a year.
Box press.
I came into the world around '89.
Came out.
Around 89. Not quite sure yet, but it was around 89.
Things
came
were
out- he
things
came
were a
out
little
alive.
fuzzy back then. But
Listen, the store
Rocky
tried to
Patel.
drop him off to 10 other families. Nobody would have him. Poor Nancy got stuck with him.
He came into the world from Pluto.
He did.
From Pluto.
He did.
He's 186 years old.
Is there a mini V cut?
There
there
is.
is
Well, it's
a
not
mini.
mini, but I'm sure you know how to do that.
try
There
it.
you
I
go.
love,
my
I
God.
love the V.
The
Yeah.
I
biggest-
think there was a penis stroke there.
Besides
There
Father
was,
Gentle
there was.
Hands, that's the biggest thing you've had.
Mine's
in your
small.
hand.
Lick it
for it.
first.
The subtle
Huh?
will get it.
I don't like
Some
the tip.
guys like
No,
to
just,
lick-
You'll
no,
wake,
sorry.
don't
you'll
like
wake
the
up in the
tip.
morning and laugh.
I don't like
Yeah.
the tip.
You don't lick the. I love.
No,
licking
I
the
just
tip.
don't. Yeah.
Would you like a lighter?
Yes,
No,
I would. Please.
He can do it by
So,
himself.
so we do have a live studio audience this evening,
Oh, my
so you'll
goodness.
Say
hear.
hi, guys.
Say hello, guys.
Hey.
All right.
Hey.
We have the,
Hey. What
we
do
have
you
the
mean?
three. We have the three Witt brothers out here.
Yeah.
So
There's not a brother. One of them does not have a penis.
that's
They're
true.
fraternal
Yeah.
triplets.
Hey, and she's the meanest of the three.
Oh.
Wow. Wow. There's a little pun there.
Hello.
Pun from the wife. So we got two whiskeys today of the same company. We have regular early times. Their bottom looks like their bottom
Nice
shelf of
shift.
holy crap we're gonna drink, and we have the bottle and bond. You wanna kick those up to the cameras,
do.
G?
I do.
And while he's doing that, what are you smoking?
In Italia.
He's
from-
smoking a CEO
The same
Italia.
one? Okay.
And when I need to use, Oh, he's showing bottles.
Okay.
Nice. And then there it is.
There it is.
OG.
The dad.
Early Times, Kentucky.
Oof. Oof. That's what we're going to try today. So, listen,
So Italia from who?
so CAO is, that's, I can't remember the blend of tobacco off the top of my head, but it's rated 92 Cigar Aficionado. It's a Maduro cigar. It's, very good, very, very good smoke. It's one of my favorites. One of my favorite cigars.
I can tell you what, look at this right here.
Park behind it.
I haven't snapped that off. I mean, that's exactly how long that cigar was when I lit it.
Right,
And there's no,
right.
I mean, people talk about full leaf and, whatever. For me, that's, you have to make sure you don't let it get too hot.
Right.
Right? You have to treat it right. You have
And,
to know how to
that'll smoke
a
well,
cigar.
the whole cigar.
But this thing will, you have to treat it right. You
Sure.
can't let it get hot. You have to exhale through it once in a while and just let it sort of like settle in. But then immediately, it's back, like full flavor. This is the kind of cigar you can smoke down to right to there.
Correct.
And Rob, would I be out of line to tell you you have a nice ash right now?
Ah.
No, it's the first time I've ever been told that. Thank you so much.
Too funny. What?
Couple of the Peanut Crew heading out.
Yeah. Why don't we? Let's take a break.
Let's
Take a break,
so we
we'll
did the
pour it up.
whiskey. Before we take a break, I want to do a shout out to Royal Havana Cigar. They're one of our sponsors. They provide us with smokes and ashtrays and all that
Lighters,
stuff,
cutters,
lighters,
everything,
cutters. Cleveland Bourbon Co-op. Maybe shout out to you guys.
Whoa.
Thank you for having our show. And Premier Automotive on 5116 Richmond Road. That's my shop. We can let me know, guys. Message me anytime if you need any work done on your cars, having any trouble, any advice you need. And then also we got the North Coast Jazz Ensemble.
Be sure to check them out. I teach private lessons, piano, all instrumentalist, and that's it. I do private events.
Awesome.
And strippers. So we're going to, well, what's wrong with strippers and music, dude?
Absolutely nothing.
Amen.
All
So
right.
we're going to head out and fade out here. We're going to go to a little break and get this all poured out, and we're going to try the initial bottle that's going to ruin our palate for the rest of the night.
Why don't we try the other one first?
No, we're going to do the...
Wait, can we
no,
take a vote?
No, we are doing the first. It's not going to ruin our palate. I'm just kidding you, man. It'll just keep getting better. But
I think he's lying to me.
I am lying to you.
I guess we're gonna find out, right?
So we're going to find out. And all right, guys.
I want dessert first.
We'll be back in a second.
All right, we'll be back.
See you in a minute.
Welcome back. This is the Whiskey Roundtable, and what we have here, out of course, our Cleveland Bourbon Co-op glasses that we exclusively drink out of on our show, and we have our OG Early Times, and I don't even know the proof on this because I never
think it's
paid
80.
attention.
I think it's 80 proof. I've never. Yeah, 80 proof. It is 80 proof. Aged in oak. For a taste worth the wait.
Oh,
How long have we waited?
you can wait
I've been waiting
forever
50
to
some
taste
years.
it. You can wait forever to
I
taste
waited
it.
4 seconds. It smells not real great.
Okay.
So we're going to let these sit and breathe for a little bit, and we have a guest here, obviously, and we're going to talk about a few things with the guest, like your whiskey backstory, your history, your favorite whiskey and our whiskeys, how you acquire your whiskey, if you have like maybe mules like we have, or we mule stuff ourselves, or sometimes we mule whiskey for other people. So we're going to open up with Big G.
Okay.
This is for you. You can ask him a few questions
Yeah, so,
while we
you know-
let this. I don't know. We got to let this sit and breathe, but
Yeah,
we're gonna
we're
let
gonna-
this sit and
We're
breathe
gonna let this breathe
till next
tomorrow.
year. Yeah.
So Robert, so I've heard a lot about you through Albert, and and he thinks very highly of you, and always is excited to hook up with you when he's out in California. And so how did you acquire your taste? Do you remember your first Scotch or bourbon that you ever had, or whiskey or beer maybe? What's your?
So interesting. I was always a white liquor guy. Rum, vodka, gin. Still love gin. My dad's drink. And however, at some point, I was indoctrinated by a very good friend of mine, Richard Gosselin,
Okay.
into Armagnac. And suddenly, and I already loved wine. I've been into wine for a very long time. and he also is, and he sort of compared a lot of the tasting that we were doing with the Armagnac to the wine, and it was very identifiable for me. From there, I was able to sort of grow, and where my huge love is single malt scotches.
Gotcha.
And
Oh my man.
yeah, so that's and interestingly, many years later, after the initial event of Richard sort of indoctrinating me into Armagnac, he ended up coming. I lived in London for a few years, and he came for about 6 months. He's a doctor, and he came to do a fellowship at the London School of Medicine in tropical medicine, of all things, because they have so many colonies, they have this kind of stuff. So he lived with me for 6 months, and we would go to a place near where we lived called Milroy's, which is probably the premier place to go, buy single malt scotches in one place. Obviously, the premier place is Scotland, but other than that, to go buy everything in one place. And everybody in Milroy's, it's in Soho in London, everybody in Milroy's has worked there 30, 40 years. And he and I would each go there, once a week, and one of us would buy a different bottle every week, and we would taste two every night with dinner, and argue about them and discuss them, and the nuances and this and that, and just between us, it meant nothing to the world, and
He's in perfect company right now.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Amen.
Amen.
I appreciate you being here.
We're not
Well,
tasting yet.
I'm.
Yeah, don't taste that one yet. Stick to your single
I
malt
could have
right
been
there.
home, watching TV and throwing a pink snake thing to a German short-haired pointer. So, and I'm here. Big thank you to my friend Albert,
Hey,
my brother.
we're glad to have you back in Ohio.
Don't taste that yet.
Don't taste that yet.
I'm not tasting. I'm smelling.
All right.
My
You
nose.
sure you want to
We're
smell
gonna-
that?
Karen's gonna
I don't
give
know.
the-
I was
Karen-
trying to smell
No,
it.
I'm trying to see if it's going to stop running my nose hair.
Anyway, yeah, we'll get to that. We're going to get to smelling notes.
I know you
So-
have a few more questions for Rob, but I wanted to bring this up. You have a chemical engineering background, right?
That's my
did I
degree.
get that right?
That's my degree.
Okay. That's cool. I just thought that was
I had a
interesting.
quick question for you. You said you kind of touched my heart of whiskey, single malt Scotch. So, what is your favorite type? Are you Speyside guy, Highland, Lowland, Islay? Do you like them all, or because like Isleys are really smoky and peaty and heavy, like a forest fire kind of smell to 'em.
So Lagavulin is probably the
No pun.
peatiest, and So here's the deal.
Lagavulin's your
Because
favorite?
Lagavulin is
talking
the
about-
peatiest,
Peaties.
right? So here's the deal. Because we had a fireplace and a mantle in this place where I lived, and of course the fireplace didn't work because after the big fire in London they disallowed using fireplace. So but the mantle was there, and we put all our Scotch bottles. We bought. He would buy one week. I would buy one the next week. They were usually about 50 or 60 pounds back in the day, whatever the exchange rate was.
Wow.
And this was in like 2000, 2001. And so we had an entire mantle, just like stocked. I mean, there's probably 40 bottles up there to get any.
Wow.
And we would pick two, and we would cook or order Indian in every night in London.
Right.
And we would take two after dinner, and we would compare them and argue and talk about all kinds of controversial things, and we would end up with a winner together, right, on the Scotch. And so over all that time, over the 6 or 8 months that he was there, we ended up with two. So one was Springbank Provenance, and there's a Springbank 21, which is also amazing.
Do you know what? I've never heard of Springbank. Is that a Speyside or a?
It may
Highland or-
be Islay, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
We can
Is it a pretty
it's
peaty one,
one
or-
Google away. It's not terribly peaty, but the best one I've ever had is an Ardbeg 17. Now Ardbeg is very peaty, but here's the deal.
it is.
We have an Ardbeg.
We
Yeah,
do.
so
Right.
you
Now-
like those Isleys then? Okay.
No, that's peaty. But here's the deal. That was our number one. But other than the 2 ounces that I have in my wine cabinet at home of the Ardbeg 17 that's left, I don't know that there's any left. And here's the deal. The Ardbeg 17 stopped being produced somewhere around 93. And I got a bottle, no, I take that back, somewhere around 80, we can Google it, like 84 or something, right?
Okay. Mhm.
And I got a bottle around when I was there in like 2000, 2001. I got several bottles. But they're done, right? Because they're 17-year-old, whatever. So, and then right around that time, when I was in Scotland, Edinburgh. They were telling me that a lot of the Japanese were coming in and buying up all of the great scotches, all of the great years.
Correct.
And that was right at the time that the Japanese got into single malt scotches. And of course, now we know the Japanese are killing it, right?
Right.
And God bless them. They did
They own
that.
some
They did that with
distillers.
TVs,
Mm-hmm.
right? They go in, they check, they see how to do it, and they make it better. They've done some great stuff with single malt scotches. Well, they were buying it all up, and so I was buying it for 80 pounds or whatever. Now you can't. Now there is none. I have the 2 ounces left because I want to taste it a little bit. So that's not there anymore. That was very peaty. You can now buy Ardbeg again because Ardbeg was closed. And you can Google that when it was closed, the distillery. Then it was bought by another big conglomerate, and it was opened, and they started again. But the original stuff, the original Ardbeg 17, you can't get anymore at all.
Do we have a big bottle of Ardbeg?
I think I do.
We do.
10 or
I don't know what year it is.
Yeah,
or-
I forget.
It's on the bar.
Maybe we'll
Yeah.
try it.
I don't have a problem with it.
it's peaty.
Oh,
But the Springbank continues, and you can continue to get the Springbank.
you're a
Springbank, I
Lefroy
think,
guy?
it's very peaty.
Yeah.
It is. Very
I don't want.
I can't do it.
We
I
got,
like-
we got
I
a
like-
nice triplet.
I
over
like
there.
that.
No, yeah, neither can I, but we have a nice triplet, actually, of Lefroy that we won't open. It's 18 years.
Well,
So I'm a balance guy. I'm a wine
College is
guy,
more of a
right?
Springbank.
And so I like
Finish
balance,
from
right?
scratch.
And so if you get something like that is totally crazy peaty, it's out of balance. Now the Ardbeg is very peaty, but it had enough. It's kind of like getting a super intense stout beer, but everything else matches the alcohol and the hops and
I hear
everything.
you.
Sort of,
It's got
you know
a
what I
very
mean?
nice
so
flavor
it's
balance
balanced,
to it.
even
Okay.
though it's huge, right? So the Ardbeg had that. To me, the Lefroigs of the world yet so far.
We're gonna after
I
the
wonder
show.
if you
We're
would
gonna
like
have
to try, after the show,
After
like
the
our
show.
Glen Ross Peated Cask Reserve, which
right.
is actually a peated space.
I'm also gonna have them try the 21 €.
Now, the one thing I didn't
21.
mention
Oh,
is
all right.
I have one that I keep in my wine cabinet all the time, and I want a touch of every once in a while, and it was the one you mentioned earlier. Help me, I forget the name. 1995.
Oh, Glen Roth's
Glenroth.
Green Label, right?
Mm-hmm.
95, and I have about that much left in the bottle, which means probably 5 or 6 shots, and
We got
because
about
it's
6.
a wide
Yeah,
bottle.
I think we have like 6 bottles.
Oh,
You're very
God.
modest.
God.
Is that one of your favorites?
It's really, 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 really good.
Yeah, sir. That is my favorite whiskey by
It
far.
is.
That is my favorite bottle of whiskey. I usually don't do this on the show and cut out of here and walk away like that,
But that was one of the first that these guys introduced me to, and I was immediately
we
hooked.
have
Oh,
6
God.
bottles of it. That is my favorite. This is
Mine
my.
has that much left.
I
so
am.
jealous.
I'm greedy with this, and because this is my personal favorite whiskey, hands down ever.
It's so.
And it's amazing
so
to meet
balanced.
somebody that
It's so
feels
balanced.
the same way. About it,
It's
you know
so
what I mean?
balanced.
Well, what did I pick up? So
Jeez.
Albert wanted me to take. I was
man.
in a liquor store. He
I'm
wanted
glad
me
you
to
brought this guy,
pick you
Albert.
something. He wanted me to pick you something, and the first thing I grabbed was Glen Rose bottles. They had the sherry cask
Shit.
and they had the bourbon cask.
Uh-huh.
And I
We have
said,
those open.
we do.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
and then
boy.
I turned around and I saw the Sexton 8-year, and I said, you know what? I guarantee you this guy's never had this. I'm sure he's going to love it. And that's what I
Is that 8 years old?
I think it's 8 years.
Wow.
I'm almost positive it is. I could be wrong.
It's a beautiful.
Maybe the other
drink.
one's 8.
It's
I don't
a
know
beautiful.
anymore.
What do you
It's a
think
cool
of that
bottle,
section?
too.
Do you like it?
It's very nice.
Okay.
It really is very
Good.
nice.
Good.
It's very nice.
Greg, any other questions for the guest?
I do not. I
Do
think
you-
we're ready to move on to history.
Do you
Unless you want Albert to ask him some questions. Or...
Yeah,
What
yeah,
Albert
Albert,
wants
you
Is
got
that
to
it?
have
This
some.
isn't kind of
Well,
Give us the.
I
you have
couldn't
some
see
stories
it.
with him.
Couldn't see it. You're
The
welcome to
bars.
read about it.
So the most notable one is Rob picked me up. I didn't know what to expect, but what?
We'll
He's
put a
got this-
picture of the bar they were at.
Yeah.
Right here.
Oh, the
He
Club.
picks me up
Yeah.
at the hotel. I was not thinking at all what was about to happen, but he picks me up in this BMW. It's made after a Mako shark, right? It's ergonomically designed.
650, yeah.
So, leather interior, the whole 9 yards. I'm like, oh my god! I hop in the passenger seat, and we peel out of this mug. And he's driving me all up and down the West Coast. No one's ever going to believe me. So it's tight, and one of the stops, the pit stops we hit on the way to the airport was. What was that bar with all the bottles?
Aero Club.
The Aero Club. It's like this legendary whiskey bar, and they had every whiskey known to man. It kind of looks like the
picture you'll see in the picture is.
The cool thing is,
oh my
the
God.
cool
Hold that up
thing,
later.
if you're watching this, is it's less than a mile from the runway at International Airport in
Oh,
San
wow.
Diego.
That's a horrible place to
San
have.
So
Diego.
if you have a not a hangover,
Missed my
a
flight
layover.
again.
Hangover.
If you
Or
want
a
the
hangover.
hangover, if you want the hangover, and you have if you have a layover and you want a hangover,
Is this the
Greg,
Or
we
you think
wouldn't
you may not
make
get
it
it.
home.
Yeah,
They would not make it.
These guys have
it's
missed 4
short
flights.
Uber. It's like right there. It's right. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's really great. Been there forever.
What do you?
We're still going to show our
we're gonna
picture
post.
also,
We'll
but
put those. Pictures.
that is back it up a little bit. It's hard to get it on because of the light of the phone, but that's how many bottles there are. I mean, that's ridiculous. Did you see his picture of that place?
I did a while.
It
ago.
is
while ago.
ridiculous. I
Well,
want
you
I
can't-
want
you
my
can't take- you
collection to
can't-
look like that someday.
You
Like,
can't take a
hey,
single
look
picture.
at you know.
Right.
You know, you have to pan. You can't.
But,
take because
um,
it goes for quite some
Right.
way.
Oh yeah, right.
Well,
Pardon me.
So how do you just do you ever order your whiskey in? Do you just go to your I know you guys have a much better selection than we do.
You know, honestly, I had a friend who was in the industry a while ago, and I was able to get. I bought cases and cases and cases, everything that you ever hoped to buy, at super cheap prices. This was about 12 years ago in California. I knew a guy. It was the I knew a guy thing. And I bought a whole bunch. And I had bought a bunch when I was in London. And before that in Spain, different kinds of alcohols and liquors. And I really, I don't need more than what I got. Here and there, I find somebody tells me
You
about
drink
something.
really good stuff, so you have I didn't know that you I didn't realize that you had you have a very good palate.
He
From
does.
what I'm hearing, and
for the stuff
that's
he's
awesome.
talking about.
I like me. That's a beautiful thing about whiskey. Like you were saying earlier, that you and your friend would sit there at the house in London, I believe, and argue about all kinds of stuff. I'm sure it was politics or a lot of life, different things. But the beautiful thing about whiskey is that no matter what you believe in your backstory,
Whatever your
it
conversation
brings you
is,
together.
it does.
The funny
And it's
the funny
beautiful,
thing is
man.
we always
It's the same
we
thing about
would
cigars.
always say
Yeah.
we would pick 2 single malts to taste and discuss, and we would argue about them. But the cool thing, we may not have agreed on whatever we were discussing otherwise, but the cool thing is we always agreed to agree on which one we settled on of the single malts at that day.
That's great.
Right? And then next time we might debate, maybe 2 different ones, but at some point the one that won on that night, we would debate that against something else.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
that's kind of cool.
It is
that's how we
cool.
came up with Springbank and Ardbeg and,
Huh.
yeah.
Awesome.
All right, so that's
Thank
cool.
you.
It's good to get your backstory. Very nice to meet you. And Karen, I think you have some history on our early times bottles we have here today.
I do.
By the way, sorry, before we cut in, I've noticed the cigar smoke isn't affecting you after those wildfires over in California.
Yes, I did watch that video. No, they do not. And I'm very, very, very happy because our host offered me this. This is just such a kick-ass cigar, period.
It's one of my favorite cigars.
It's really wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
I love Maduros. It's the right size. It's smoking wonderfully. It's not hot. It's the perfect accompaniment. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Sorry, I
You're
didn't mean to
very
steal your thunder.
No, it's good. It's all good. So early times. So early times is a distillery that was founded in Shively, Kentucky in 1860. It was actually founded by Jack Beam, who was the uncle of Jim Beam. And Uncle Jack was actually the best man at Jim's wedding.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so there's a connection there.
Well, son of a bitch.
God damn! Who knew?
And he was the
You
brother
married my
of the
sister,
bride,
boy.
too.
Yeah, he was, I bet.
And the groom.
Anyway, I got a lot to say about that, but I'm going to be good for once.
Kentucky's not far from here.
The name Pumpkin came up.
We love you, Kentucky.
I was just at a Kentucky game and I rooted for them, so nobody can be mad at me.
There you go. Hey, we are an equal opportunity.
Yeah, we beat up on everybody.
Yeah. No one's safe.
Equal opportunity haters.
I busted my dad's butt till the day he died, and even after he was dead, I still busted his butt.
Minutes after he died.
Passed away.
He wouldn't have wanted it any other way. It's just how we are. And this is why we have the explicit content on the website there.
That's true.
Total shock and awe for me, by the way.
That's right.
Anyway, Jack died 1915. He only had one son who decided to not take ownership of the distillery, so the ownership went outside of the family. Prohibition came along. Boo. And the distillery closed for a little while. And then in 1923, it was acquired by Brown-Forman. And then over the next 30 years, they actually made Early Times the best-selling whiskey in the the
See, we're drinking it today.
See, we've come a long way, kids.
The first one. But I have a problem with that. Like, what son doesn't want to take over their dad's business that is liquor?
That's a spoiled son.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's that kind of son.
Son, you want to take over my... Yes, Dad. Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah, and you know what?
Let me help you clean out your desk.
I've been
Dad.
practicing since I was 9.
Pretty
I've been
much.
drinking since.
Right? Yeah, it did not say why he did not want to take it over, just that he did not, so it went outside of the family.
Right. Wow, that's horrible.
I know, right? Where was I back then?
Right.
So today, it's actually marketed in 40 countries, and it's mainly marketed as a bourbon, but it cannot be marketed as a bourbon in the U.S. because it doesn't meet all the required criteria to be a bourbon. To be a bourbon, it has to be, and I hope I get this right and I don't reverse it, bourbon must be aged in new barrels. This is actually aged in old barrels.
Used barrels.
Oh.
Old used
That's why it's
barrels.
not a Kentucky straight bourbon.
That's it.
So that's why it cannot be marketed actually in the States as a bourbon.
Okay.
In 1987, Brown-Forman, owner of the distillery, they contracted with Churchill Downs, and they marketed the Early Times Mint Juleps as the official drink of the Kentucky Derby. And every Derby week, they sell over 100,000 ET Early Times Mint Juleps.
Oh.
So there's a lot of drinking going down
Amen.
in Kentucky. And some of you may say, no, they don't. It's not the brand of the Kentucky Derby, but it is for the mint juleps. Actually, Brown-Forman has a sister brand, Woodford Reserve.
Woodford Reserve.
Love it.
And they are actually marketed as the official bourbon of the Kentucky Derby. So
half hater, half liker.
there's a connection there. Brown-Forman does own both of those, and their connection there to the Kentucky Derby.
Okay, kids.
Okay. Well,
Well, this has been aging since yesterday. I think maybe we should.
it's been a day. It doesn't smell any better than used toilet water.
That's
But
it.
Oh, come on now.
Come on.
let's take a nose on it, guys, and tell me what you think. I'm sorry, it hit me kind of hard there for a second.
Woo!
I don't like.
Nice.
Greg, I don't get like.
I'm getting very little out of it.
I'm not really getting anything out of it other than like alcohol and something else in the background.
I'm getting alcohol and maybe a little caramel.
I want to say corn.
I'm not getting any oak on it.
Butthole.
Well, if you're getting strengths in those kind of areas, it means it's unbalanced, right? I mean, nose-wise. I mean,
But the thing is, it's such a low proof for a Kentucky or whatever you want to call
Kentucky
it.
whiskey.
Kentucky whiskey. That.
I mean, I'm not impressed.
I mean, we've had I think the Stag Junior is lighter on my nose than this.
But it's harsh because it's a lot of. You're right. The alcohol is front.
All right, since we don't have a lot to discuss, Albert, are you getting anything out of it other than
Can't get
just like
any
cheap?
oak. No.
Dude, I can't.
I'm hardly getting. And I'm clear. I'm pretty much cleared up at this point. Usually in the morning, I'm a little
Cigars are
coldy
like kind of getting me in here.
from
but
that nasty cold that we had for 2 fucking weeks.
Is it?
But,
We have an audience member who's cracking up over there. I don't know if he's been drinking on this a little too long.
I've been
He's
taking-
it's
like, he's
hilarious
falling off
watching.
the couch laughing. Is it the coldy thing?
No, it's me. I'm taking it personally. It's all about me.
It's got and
It's all about me.
it's got weird legs to it. I see some really short ones. Thank you.
That was perfect timing.
It's like short ones and long, but it's almost like
It's all over the place.
yeah,
And it looks
like
kind of
somebody
oily.
that had owed
Kinda
somebody
oily.
money and got their legs beat.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's what it is.
You don't even need a sound effect
Eric's
with
killing
the Witt brother over there.
What were you doing outside?
It is, man. It's like somebody that owed somebody money and then they got their legs beat up in the alley. All right, let's take it. Let's just taste it. Let's do it.
Why?
All right, let's dive in. Let's dive in.
Why? After that, why?
Because we have to.
Okay,
All right.
this is what we do. I'm part of we.
Dude,
It's good.
that is the nose is very deceptive.
It's
It
good.
smelled like
It
garbage
is very caramely.
and tastes like
It's still
a
big
brick of
alcohol.
gold.
It's light.
It's like
Are you not drinking? You're just laughing.
He's drinking
What
rum.
were you drinking?
I'm supposed to be on the side watching.
You're smoking what?
I'm supposed to be on the side.
Yeah,
I like it.
that's a different type of smoke, sir.
God damn it.
I like it.
It's one of those trickster drinks.
It is a
man.
trickster.
It smells like garbage on the nose, and you know what?
It really
Actually,
has some substance there.
for a
It's good.
super. It's a
I'm
super
gonna sit,
light
I'm gonna
drink.
sit
It's
back. I'm
smooth.
gonna hit it again here in
It's
a minute.
really smooth, other than being straight alcohol on
It
the
is
nose.
still big
But
alcohol.
it's not
but
a
it's caramel.
harsh
You know, you
alcohol.
nailed the alcohol, the
Doesn't
caramel
burn a
nose.
lot.
I didn't get it, but you nailed it because it's in the flavor.
It's not bad.
It's not bad at all.
Wow.
I remember, dude. I drank this a long time ago.
I drank that.
And I
was
remember
this?
be like,
You see those
fuck,
legs
yeah.
coming down?
And
What
you're
was
all
this, like
fucked up,
12
man.
bucks?
Like somebody beat
Yeah, I
you.
think it was
It's like
$12.
your bottle. It's
No
all,
way.
you're all
Yeah, it was
beat
like
up.
12 bucks.
I didn't know it was come to a cheap.
Yeah.
Florida.
Yeah.
This is Florida.
This other one you can't get anymore. This
Hangs
wild
left.
Whoa, hey, I hang with him.
All right, I'm gonna,
Okay, that's
I'm
way
gonna
too
go,
much information.
I'm going in for round 2, kids.
Let's do it. I'm gonna say it's I killed that. It's very singular. There's nothing,
No complex.
no complexion to it. Not at all. I mean, there's really nothing to this other than a slight bit of. I'm getting like a caramely kind of toffee thing going on. Maybe a little peanut brittly. I kind of have on the back of it. Actually, I get kind of a little bit of a peanut brittle kind of thing going
Well,
on
that's
in the back.
kind of the caramely thing, right?
Yeah.
To me,
So-
it's like an Irish.
But you know,
whiskey,
you're
'cause
right.
It's
It
very
is
light.
very
a really
unique.
shitty Irish whiskey, but
Well,
It is very
It does
unique.
drink like that. You are
does.
correct.
It's
yes.
very light.
But
It's very one-dimensional.
I don't hate it anymore. I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe I grew. You know, because that's years and years ago.
Well,
and
it's
you grow
$12
up.
bucks.
Yeah, you can't argue
That
with that.
was
Actually,
For
encouraged.
$12 bucks,
If
That
that's
was-
all you can afford, you know, you're doing well.
that's
Well,
hey,
we always
Greg,
talk about.
That's
you
a
know,
straggler feeder right there.
Right. Right.
a who? What?
That's a straggler feeder.
What does that mean?
People that come over the house that don't appreciate whiskey at all, it's going to sit there and chug all
Bottle,
your shit.
the third
That's
bottle
what you give them.
It's
and
the
you know
third
what?
bottle
And
from
they'll
the
love it.
left.
Well,
It's the third bottle from the left when
You're-
those people come over.
you're right.
I keep one of those too.
That's what you. That's what you put. That's what you put in
It's so
the
funny that you said that.
That's
It's
what
so
you put in the decanter, and nobody knows what the fuck it is. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, what's
Actually,
that?
I
Really
put,
good
Me personally,
whiskey.
I put the really good shit in the decanter, and you know.
Right. I hear you. But yeah, that goes both ways.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
for all
you're
the
right.
smack you were talking, Joe, I am impressed with this.
It's actually good.
It's not
But
bad.
we may
It's-
change our mind in a
No,
moment.
the
In a moment. We
I'm
may.
telling you, the bottled in bond is fantastic.
So we
It's
may
20
reevaluate this right after comparing it.
Right.
That's the idea, right?
Yes.
To compare.
All right, so we're going to take a little break here. I'm going to just do a quick shout out to Royal Havana Cigar. They supply us with all our smoking goodies. Also the
Really
Cleveland
fucking
Bourbon
good.
Co-op, obviously. Thank you guys for watching the show. And Premier Automotive of Cleveland, 5116 Richmond Road. Contact me if you need anything. And we got the North Coast Jazz Ensemble. I keep wanting to say Northeast. but
Ashtray.
I
North
North
Coast Jazz.
Coast Jazz
Sugar
Ensemble.
Daddy.
We have the ashtray. That's Big G ashtray, by the way. So you're a lucky man. using that
Kick-ass
tonight.
ashtray.
It is. And that's it. Let's hit the break real quick, and we're going to dish out the other whiskey, Mr.
Yeah.
G. welcome back again. This is the Whiskey Roundtable, and we have our second bottling today. It's the Early Times Bottled and Bond. Greg's going to kick that up on the Big G. Beautiful drink. Me and G have been drinking this since we found it on a little dusty shelf over there in Market District in Solon. I picked it up, and there was literally dust. It's on the very bottom shelf, dust collecting all of it, and it had a lot of hype on the internet, and I'm like, oh, I wonder how much this is, and I saw it was like a liter for $23? You gotta be kidding me. And I was like, I don't know, Early Times, I never really cared for Early Times, and I opened it, drank it, and I'm like, holy shit. Early Times knocked it out of the park. So let's get it on the nose here, guys. Tell me what you think. G?
I smell a lot of caramel, I smell vanilla in there. Definitely smell some oak.
It's very much lighter on the alcohol.
And that's crazy because it's like almost 20 points higher.
Right.
Really?
Yes. It's 100 proof, bottle and bond.
It's definitely a sweet smell.
Yeah, it is.
Can't place
This
it.
drink, I know a lot of people always say, with bourbons, you see a lot of reviews like caramel. This is caramel.
Some caramel. I was gonna say almost
The flavor, the nose. It's not super complex, but it is very, very tasty, very easy to drink, 100 proof whiskey.
Honestly, what I would say.
What do you think?
I think it's really balanced. Right?
Yes.
I mean, you just said it has 20 points higher,
Yeah.
alcohol,
Uh-huh.
and yet with higher alcohol, the last one was the alcohol was in front.
It drowned the smell.
And yet this has higher alcohol, and yet it's not just caramel though. It's balanced.
It's a whole bouquet
It's
of it.
balanced
It is.
from
Yeah.
front to back on
Yeah.
the nose. I mean,
I'm not getting any fruit. I'm not getting any of that, are you?
Actually, on this one, I do get a little hint of a kind of a fruity smell to it, but I get a lot of caramel, a lot of vanilla.
Excuse me. It always impresses me
Yeah,
to
my
go
sinuses
from
are
water to go to this. It's very impressive, man. It gets that thick, oily thing you often talk about when we look at it. Nice coloration to it.
I like this one too because I like heavy drinks. What I mean by heavy is you get that nice oily, slow drip, and this has kind of got that.
you like añejos, right?
I like this.
You like
Yeah.
things that are honey.
See, claro.
I mean, look,
Develop.
that's a slow drip.
And that-
The legs,
honestly,
and they're
but-
all
but that's
very.
right to tequila. Look
But
at
that's
that.
what this
Can-
nose
unique,
is, right?
or
I mean,
together.
as things
What's the word?
get better, if you
Oh,
leave the
same.
grapes on the vine longer, you get higher bricks. You get more sugar. You get
Right.
more,
Thank
honey,
Sorry.
right? And that's what the nose on this. We haven't even tasted it yet, right? This is the nose.
Correct.
It's very unctuous is the
It's
word.
very pleasing. It really
Unctuous
is.
is the word I have. It's like a good beef. It's like
Karen?
you can take a bite out of the smell.
I smell a couple different things going on. No alcohol, like I said. I
Do share.
I do smell the caramel. One of the interesting things, I was looking at the Early Times that we just did compared to this one, and pretty much the same
They
coloration.
are very similar color.
They are, yeah. That
That can be deceiving.
Good eye.
Yeah,
They don't always.
the bottled and bond, I think, is
It's a little
a
darker.
hair darker.
It is. It is. It's a hair
I can see
darker,
it
but
from
it's.
And I'll throw this out there also. I had the first time I drank was actually on Carl's porch. I brought it over, if you remember,
A
Carl.
lot of things affect the color.
Yeah, Carl.
It's not just the amazing balance and flavor.
Well, guys, I'm going to give it a taste.
Let's do this.
I'm tired of talking about it.
I'm so
You guys are
ready.
killing me. It's like a
Ready?
kid not being able to open his,
Let's do it,
his
man.
Christmas presents. Some bullshit right there.
Man, call my homie on the phone like there's something new out
Oh.
that got me in the zone.
Cherry,
Got
baby.
feeling, got me
Cherry,
in
yeah,
the
I
get that.
Cherry,
Yes.
immediately on the front of the tongue.
Yes.
Bingo.
I always had like
Wow.
undefined taste to that, and that does. It brings that to sometimes when people say the word that you're hunting for, and you're like, that's it. And you just can't spit it out initially of what that is that you're tasting, and that you're correct. That's really good.
I gotta say, the best way to describe this, to me, again, I'm speaking from personal perspective. I don't want to offend anyone.
No, go ahead. No offense
It's
here.
almost like
We always judge.
It's almost like a little it's a little perfection in a glass.
So you like it?
I respect it.
What do you get? What are you getting out of it? What do you think compared to the other one?
It's just it's much easier on the nose. There's no question, and I'm getting a lot
It's
more
so
flavor
balanced.
out of it as far
So
as.
balanced.
Although the
$23 for a
So
liter.
fucking balanced. I am so buying this.
Amen.
I'm so buying this.
I guarantee if you didn't show somebody what this was and they were drinking out of a clear bottle that had no labels on it, you could tell them they were drinking a high-end whiskey and they would not argue with you.
Right.
If I can get this in San Diego, 2 cases, day I get back.
And
If you get 2
Monday,
cases, I will buy
please
a
mail
case
some
from
back
you.
for us.
It's hard for you to get. You can't get
Can't
it.
get it anymore here.
No. This is we're probably some of the last people that have it.
I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure it out. I can't place.
Do you need another pour?
I can't place.
Greg, hit her up a little bit more.
I don't like her that much.
Okay.
Is that
Hey
all
man,
we
you
have
gotta
to
live
do?
with her, dude.
That's right. I forgot.
Wait, what?
Check on it.
Is that all we have to do to get
Just
back?
by the way, actually, just to let y'all know, Karen
You want
actually
a
makes
little
him pay rent.
You want a little more?
Sure. Yes.
Okay.
Karen, am I lying?
Damn, Skippy.
That's right. Okay. All right. Oh, well, I thought I was lying on this, but
Hello. Question. Do we want to taste the first one again? You?
I don't need to.
I don't need to, but I will.
I don't
I
need
will.
to.
You know what? I'm going to taste the first one, Robert. I'm going to taste the first one with you.
He'll do it. He'll do it with you.
I'm tasting the first one.
I didn't say I needed to.
I don't need to because this
This
is
is a small.
I
small
really
little-
don't need
this
to.
is
I-
light years ahead.
He's the man. I
That's
want to
okay.
hear.
Sure.
You know, he's like sacrificing himself for the gang here.
Are you
Yeah,
tasting
thanks,
the
man.
first one again?
Thank you.
I'm not. I don't want to. My point was,
See, dude,
do you really feel like you need to taste?
Oh,
I don't feel like I need
I
to.
don't need to, but I'm going to.
Dude,
I'm
the
going to.
180 the
first
other
time I opened this and let it sit in a snifter, I couldn't believe it was in early times. I really
That is
couldn't.
really.
It is
Good.
from the one to the other. It is 2 different companies to me.
So you're offended, right?
There's not even
There's
a
a
comparison.
distinct. Of what?
The one we just tried.
I just gave you some.
I don't want to drink it. I want to read it.
I do believe
Duncan.
this one trumps it.
It's
but
Oh,
it is
by
apples
far.
and oranges.
the taste is
Absolutely.
great.
But you know what?
But it's not.
I'm blown
you
away.
know?
I
It's not bad.
we made fun of it, but at the end of the day, it showed up to.
Am I going to buy it and drink it all the time? No.
I might buy it for just something to drink.
I'm not.
Yeah, drink
12.
on
You
it.
know what?
If I'm going to have a ton of people over and have
Here's
a
my
decent
gig.
drink,
If I can get
Yeah.
that for twice the amount,
twice the amount,
Oh,
twice
24 or 23, whatever, sign me up.
Dude, twice
Right.
the amount. And
If I can get 2 cases, I'm in. That no, thank you.
Right. Yeah.
Life is short. Eat good beef.
That's what I
dude,
said.
I agree with you.
That's how I got this size.
That's what he tells me every night.
Life is short. Eat good
Yeah,
beef.
she says that's a. I asked
Damn
her-
it, Albert! It's not funny. Yeah, it is.
See, did we do the tasting notes on this one?
Which one?
You know
Actually,
what?
we didn't. No.
I
Karen,
am still
Go ahead.
lost, and
Is it on there?
It is
Charity.
not on here.
Pull it up.
It's got a lot of charity
Oh,
and
and
it's
you,
I
and you
just-
wing
I-
up some tasting
You know what?
notes
It's
on that?
balanced. Here's another thing. It's balanced. If you taste it,
It's a beautiful. I love.
if
this
you
drink.
taste it, and I ask you how did it taste on the front, you have an opinion.
Right.
How did it taste on the middle? You have an opinion. How did it taste at the end,
No,
the
early
finish?
times
You have an
bottled and
opinion. It's balanced all the way through the taste.
I agree with you. It's balanced, and it's very good, and it's smooth, and
There we go.
I can't pin it to a certain.
Albert's pulling up some tasting notes for us on this one. We forgot to do that. We're not perfect. We're human.
Yeah, we
Sometimes.
usually do
Actually,
it.
we're pretty perfect.
We're pretty perfect.
I was gonna say, don't put me in that category.
Well, okay, so again, you know,
y'all forgot, but
Hey, we make
right.
mistakes. We make perfect mistakes.
as as the appearance, it's got a medium copper look to it, and it's 100 proof, bottled and bond, of course. So the nose is freshly poured baking spice notes dominate the nose. Obviously, I think we all agreed on that.
Alberto!
A few minutes into the glass, the nose lightens up quite a bit. It's soft notes of caramel, oak. Yes, I'm 18. Website. Citrus mesh, resulting into a balanced, pleasant nose. You want me to read this, right?
Yes.
Now the palate is what we were all
He's
waiting
so
for.
sexy.
That's what we're waiting for.
Freshly poured baking spice dominate.
Yeah, that's the nose.
I didn't get baking spice on
We
the
got the
nose.
caramel.
What the fuck is baking spice?
I think a pumpkin pie.
That's like your baking spice. I was always taught
Was
it's
that
like
inappropriate?
Like cinnamon.
See, I told you I got some
nutmeg.
citrus on
You know
fruit
that
on
kind of
that.
stuff. I didn't take
Look
I
at
mean,
me
I got
pulling this out.
charity.
I don't even cook.
Yeah, I agree with you. on
It
this,
says
Eric.
a very balanced nose on it, and it does. Like you said, that's what he said. This is really balanced
And maybe
between
that's
the alcohol and the nut.
Maybe
And
that's why I'm having a hard
go ahead and do
time
the palate,
picking
Albert.
one thing out.
Isn't
Okay.
that, you know, where if I use, you know, basil in a dish,
Cut me off.
and you taste something, and you say the chicken, and you say, this is amazing, I can't figure out what you did to make it taste like this, I win, right? If you
Sure.
don't know it's basil, then I've made it harmonize in such a way that it makes it, you know,
It's
Okay.
balanced. It's not overpowering.
No.
What about
if
peanut
it's
gallery?
balanced,
Did you
you
get
can't
peanut
pick it
gallery
out.
there?
That's the
son?
idea. This
You're
is
making a
really, honestly, I got to tell you
Oh
something.
yeah. Will
You guys
taste
are
some?
bourbon guys. I'm a single malt Scotch guy. Let me tell you something. This is the best bourbon I have ever tasted. Now,
Get the fuck out.
there are people, you know, and
He
like,
drinks mostly-
like
he
right
drinks
here,
mostly Scotch.
they're gonna like kill me because there's, you know, what is the
No,
rump- the rump-
dude. Everybody has their own palate. There's no killing
All I can
everybody
say
over
is
that.
this is the best balanced bourbon I have ever tasted. Now,
Have you had a lot of bourbons?
I have had some, but I can't recite bourbons like you guys, right? I'm more, like I say, I'm single malt Scotch guy. That's what I.
And I agree. I get what you're saying on that, and I'm not.
I mean,
gonna
if
argue
you know
with him
one
on
that's
that,
more
because
balanced,
it
than
is
this,
really
that will
good.
make me like sort of this euphoric. Please tell me what it is. Tell me what beats this, hands down. Say it.
Well, I can't really say that because here's the problem with that question you're asking me is that everybody has their own palate and you have to figure that out for yourself.
It's
but I'm just
subjective, I
going to
get
point
that.
out there that, and I'm not trying to be egotistical here with Greg and stuff like that.
Oh, why
even though
start
it
doing
strokes
something
it a
different
little,
now, Joe?
but we have a hell of a bourbon collection, and I'm sure we can find you something that's very good.
So,
But
if
at the
it's-
same time, I understand why you're saying this because this is one of my favorite go-to everyday
But if you were
drinks
going, let me
that's
ask
been
you
taken
this. Let
from
me
me.
ask you because I'm
You
going to
get to
persist.
taste
If
the
you were
notes?
going to
He
If
does.
you were going to try and convince me of another bourbon that I should taste that might make me as excited about
I'm
this
trying
one,
to get to it.
which one would it be?
Right off the top of my head, right now, Old Forester Single Barrel will trump that for you.
Bam! He's got a point.
I,
Okay.
think,
That's a
I
good
also
one.
think that
good
that
pick.
Ambler.
Smooth it. Oh, what, the 10-year?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. I mean, that's like a unicorn.
Guys,
oh,
let's
that's
reel
not
it back
even-
in. Let's reel it back
There's
in.
a lot
Back
of
to early
Blanton's,
times. Let's reel it back in, man.
Buffalo Trace,
Well, I think he
Single Barrel.
I think
Tasty
he
notes.
likes. I think he likes the not so. I don't think he's
I like
into
balance.
I don't think he's into the spice.
Time
I
to
think
get to
he's
the tasting
into
notes, I'll figure
the
it out.
balance. It's you do like the spice.
I like
You like
spice,
the bite.
but everything has to
Bottled
be
and bond,
balanced,
like
right? I
rice.
mean, if
A really good
if
comparison
the
for him
spice
on
is
this.
not balanced, it doesn't work.
Okay, so a really good drink, since you like this so much, I think a good comparison to this for him to try would be the store pick Buffalo Trace.
Look right here. It says early times
have it.
bonded is sweeter with more oak influence to it than Old Forester signature.
Ooh!
Right? That's the takeaway.
Okay.
Now, to pontificate where we
Interesting.
left off
That
a
was a
moment
good
ago,
pick I
we're
had
going to go
there.
back to the palate real quick.
Okay.
It says here, we all agreed that there was light caramel notes balanced with slightly tangy, dark fruit notes.
Yes.
The simple sweetness of the front carries through the mid palate, but the fruit notes are replaced by light oak and cinnamon.
Ooh, cinnamon.
The finish turns slightly earthy and bitter before some of the spice notes return to a light warming sensation, which is great for this.
I don't get a
Ohio
bitterness
winter
out of
weather.
it. I get a nice long finish. I get a lot of the caramel,
I don't get any
vanilla.
bitterness out of it.
I get
None.
No,
the
there's
kind
not
of
one
fruity.
iota
No,
of
not at all.
bitterness.
No.
Yeah.
None. But when you read that, Albert, you helped me figure it out. Like you said, sometimes you look for that somebody to say it, and it's the oak. That's what I get out of this is the oak. I don't get anything,
The
you know, the
tannic.
caramel or
You
the,
don't
I
get caramel, eh?
I don't. I don't.
Oh, I get tons of that.
I don't get
Tons
it.
of it.
But you
get
don't
the
get
oak.
alcohol. So what's superseding the alcohol then?
The oak. To me, I taste the oak.
I do. I said right out of the gate, I tasted the oak.
Okay, that's really interesting.
That's the tannic. I like that. Yeah, it's very good. I get that too.
It's very good. It
John
is very
talked
good.
about the I
I'm
don't
buying
know if this
that.
is even
If
a
I
word,
can
the
find it,
tannics a
I'm
lot
buying it.
in the
And I'll
last
send
show
you
that we
some.
did with the Sonoma. He was saying the tannic this and that, and that's we do a lot of whiskey tasting. We know we have a very, I think me and Greg and Albert and Karen, everybody here have a really good palate in our whiskeys and stuff like that. But we're always learning new things, and the whole tannics thing that John was explaining last show is like I'm kind of still like doing research on that and getting used to that whole
And I've
thing.
heard of that from a wine
Yeah.
perspective. You
Yeah,
know, the
and
higher
yeah.
tannins are in the wines
Right,
or
right,
whatever. But
yeah.
I haven't heard it in whiskey terms. And when John mentioned that last week, it was the first time I heard of that.
Right.
But I understand it because
Right.
it's the different heaviness, I guess, that
Right.
you taste in the.
But whether it's tannins in wine or hops in beer, you're looking for balance, right? I mean, what I'm looking for across all the things I taste, I'm a foodie. Whether it's food, whether it's cured meats I'm making, or wine, which is really my love. I make beer, whether it's bourbon, single malt scotch. I'm looking for a balance. This, I do want more. I know it's expensive.
Oh, me too.
It
we
is
we
so-
want a lot
It
more of
is
that.
so balanced. If I can find it, I'm buying a lot.
I'm so glad to have you on this show today, and that we actually picked you. And thank you, Albert. I get
West
it was
Coast Sox, right?
literally last minute, and I'm going to admit this on the show. It was literally last minute, and I get anxious when last minute because I'm as far as this show goes, I'm a preparer, and it was like, oh man, what are we going to do? I'm thrown off by this. Should we do this show with a guest like this and blah blah blah? But he's right. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm just going to go with the flow on it because these guys are like, calm down. We're going to do this. It'll be great. And this guy. And I couldn't even, because I never got an explanation from Albert. I never got an explanation of, is this guy, I was like, is he a whiskey guy? Does he drink this stuff?
Can you play some Barry
He
White?
actually,
We'll leave him
he
alone.
underplayed
Actually,
you.
I brought this song to him. I
Totally,
did.
he
Yeah. This is a
totally
great tune.
underplayed
This is
you on the
his
whiskey.
theme
And this dude right here, I'm glad we had him on the show. This has been fantastic.
Mountaintop moment night.
I think even
totally
Greg,
did this
and I
night.
can see it in Greg's face, is that we picked out a whiskey, and it was almost like we always kept coming back to, we got to do early times bottled, and we get early times bottled and bond tonight, and this guy fucking loves it, and that's what we want to do, and the ashtrays. And, so that's really cool to me. That I hold that dear to my heart. And moving on from that, since we tried it, we're done with the whiskey. I'm going to kick out a few of the news things here, and I'm going to I'm going to go back to the Hank Spicer. Hank Spicer is noticing that the very old Barton bottled and bond is disappearing on the shelves, along with, I didn't mention, our early times bottled and bond is being taken away from us
God
here in
bless you.
Ohio.
Thank you.
Not disappearing, but just Ohio was taken off our list. And then in Scotland, everybody, a medieval structure believed to be one of the world's oldest stills has been discovered. And if I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this correctly, I believe it's Fife, F-I-F-E.
Sounds right.
In Fife, Scotland. It dates back to 1494, and they have found things like the oats and the barley and all that stuff, and the little pots they had and everything. So that's so far believed to be the world's oldest distillery. Scotland, because they're the motherland for our whiskey.
Did they
Don't forget
find any
that.
barrels under?
They found all kinds
Whiskey
of
with
stuff
a-
under there.
without an
and
E,
they
right?
figured this is one of the oldest distilleries,
WHISKY.
dating back to 1494. And another thing that sucks for me is a website called Master of Malt is currently unable to ship to the U.S. They are working on a solution to that. I know some of you order from there, but they're basically, yeah, that's it. They're working on a solution to be able to ship stuff back to us because they get a lot of Blantons that we can't get here, which I want to talk to you about, Greg, because I found some stuff on there that once they reintroduce their shipping back to the United States, we have to order because their prices are actually very fair. Their
I
shipping
have
is a little high.
I have a couple special blends of 2 bottles of the Blantons as well. Not from there, but here in the States.
Right,
But-
and I'm not talking blends in general,
Right.
just products they have that are barrel strengths, the gold and stuff. I know some places around the United States get handfuls of this, but we're looking for a quick end to that. So and Master Malt was, and I regret not ordering when I could. But then in Pike County, Alabama, I don't know how to pronounce this, so it's called Conecuh. Conecuh Ridge Distilling Company has plans to release. They're opening a whiskey distillery, aiding in the local economy in that town, and they're going to add. They're buying up 80 acres, and at least 50 jobs are going to be offered. And I just thought that was kind of cool. A distillery opening up somewhere to.
Are they
increase their
hiring?
economy.
Because
50 jobs right now are being offered. And
Right.
that's it for the Whiskey Roundtable tonight. this was a great show. He was a really good guest. I'm glad you came on the show and shared the whiskey with us. We have
Thanks, Robert.
I have
Thank
a
you. Mr.
special
Deagzio,
prize for you
everybody.
tonight because this guy actually, Glen Ross is my personal favorite distillery in the entire world. Buffalo Trace is my favorite American distillery. Glen Ross is people call it Glen Ross, Glen Ruthers. I don't know what the correct.
We just
between
call
the
it
two.
good.
Glen Ross. It's fucking good, and we have a hell of a stash of Glen Ross here, or Glen Ruthers. And what's on the bar is not only what we have. We have a much larger stash in boxes also. So we're going to take care of that. So I am your host. We are your hosts. I'm Joe Clark.
Big G.
And I'm Albert Santilli.
And I am Karen Helen Keller.
Robert Deagzio.
Thanks for joining us tonight.
Drink responsibly.
Appreciate it.
Be
Drink
safe.
responsibly.
Be safe, everybody.
We love you all.
See you
Thanks
next
for being
week.
on our show. John Passo, thank you again for last week.
Hey.
Showed that out. What's up, buddy?
All right, we're going
That's
to
it.
Royal Salute, John, in 1995.
Right, baby. All right.
No.
One lightning.